In 1981, the cameras rolled on Grease 2. With an estimated $11.2 million budget, a fresh young cast, and an epic 58-day shooting schedule, Paramount pulled no stops on this ambitious sequel, which was expected to soar at the box office the following summer. Grease 2. I still have fond memories of seeing this one in the theatre, just like it was yesterday. I think there might have been 300, 400 seats in the theatre, and only about 15, maybe 20 people turned up. And I remember thinking to myself, where is everyone? Why isn't there more people in this session? Yes, Paramount was fearlessly expecting another windfall, as the original Grease was pretty much the biggest film of 1978. Financially, Grease was a blockbuster, and the soundtrack was also a bullseye. In fact, you could call it a 1-2 punch. It was a rare win for both the movie and music industries. Add to this the film's two stars, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, who were instantly loved by the public, and Grease was much more than just a film. It had become a cultural phenomenon. But when something is as big as Grease, was it wise to try and replicate the formula for further success? Or would it be a better option to just walk away and let their original film stand alone as a landmark musical? Really, the idea of a Grease film in most people's minds was, why would you do it? Why bother? I mean, the original was so great. How can you top it? Paramount couldn't help but take the bait. They rolled the dice, and their opportunist attempt at box office supremacy backfired. But why did audiences stay away from Grease 2? Let's explore what went wrong. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I enjoyed the film. Maybe they didn't know it was playing. With Grease 2 in the can and their June 1982 release date fastly approaching, Paramount's marketing machine went into overdrive. They paraded their new stars, Maxwell Caulfield and Michelle Pfeiffer, on magazine covers, and full-page pin-ups could be found within the pages of Teen Beat. Yes, the new Danny and Sandy certainly looked great on paper, but the public were dubious from the get-go. The public weren't ready for Maxwell Caulfield and Michelle Pfeiffer. Not because they weren't good, they just didn't care. Maxwell Caulfield was arguably better looking than Travolta, and Pfeiffer was arguably hotter than Olivia, but they weren't Travolta and Olivia, so whatever was thrown in the public's faces wasn't going to cut it. The public had their favourites. They loved John and Olivia, and they weren't going to take second best. When Grease 2 was released in theatres on June 11th, 1982, Paramount had a fearless approach. They opened their sequel opposite the sci-fi film E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I remember I enjoyed the film, but I was thinking, where is everyone? And as I walked out of the theatre, I looked across the foyer and noticed that there was a bit of a queue forming. And I thought to myself, where were you guys for Grease 2? And then I realised something else had opened the same day. Yes, Paramount felt confident that Grease 2 could destroy Steven Spielberg's Alien extravaganza, but it turned out to be a miscalculation, a big mistake. It's hard to believe that the film bombed, because you would think that they would support Grease 2 and E.T. But for whatever reason, they wanted to watch E.T. again and again. E.T. thumped Grease 2 at the box office, and the critics sharpened their knives immediately, labelling the sequel and its soundtrack an inferior cash-in. And at that time, special effects were really becoming a big thing, and E.T. offered something that Grease 2 didn't. So basically, audiences looked elsewhere. So why did audiences stay away? Simple, they were still enraptured by the original film. In fact, with the advent of video cassette players filtering into homes, Grease became a film that everyone wanted to rent or own. For the first time, households were able to watch their favourite film on repeat. Why did they need to leave their homes to go and see something that wasn't going to hold up, when they could go and see something entirely different? The general public had the preconceived notion that this film was going to be inferior to the original. I'm sure most conversations about going to see the film followed this basic pattern. Do you want to go and see Grease 2? What are they going to do this time? Didn't they already leave school? Who's in the new film? Are John Travolta and Olivia in it? No? Well, I'm not going to see a Grease movie without them. Sadly, when ticket payers discovered that the original stars weren't in it, that was the death knell for the movie. I'm sure if John and Olivia had have appeared in the film, even in a supporting capacity, it would have helped get the film over the line. Actually, box office dollars would have increased just by having their names on the poster. If John and Olivia had have done press for the film, it would have just raised the profile, brought awareness to this thing. But in the end, Paramount, despite all their marketing efforts, kind of sold this one short because they didn't cast John and Olivia. In the end, Grease 2 brought in a dismal $15.2 million at the box office, and the sequel was looked upon as a complete fiasco. The actors were considered inferior, the soundtrack was labelled lacklustre, and the story was dismissed as a bore. The film's misstep really wasn't through lack of songs. I mean, they had Score Tonight, Cool Rider, Reproduction, the finale, We'll Be Together. I mean, they were all great songs. The soundtrack was really cool. I mean, you just wanted to go out and buy it. But did the critics jump in too fast and misjudge the film, just like the public who didn't even bother to turn up? Yes, I think so. Grease 2 is a film begging for re-evaluation. In most instances, everything it was criticised for was cruelly unjust. In fact, the film has energy to burn. The stars, the soundtrack and the plot all have something to offer. And I always felt, because I liked the film on first viewing, maybe I was one of the cool cats. I mean, why didn't they get it? Despite being set in 1961, only 2 years after the events of the first film, Grease 2 provides almost a modern spin on Rydell High. Yes, Grease 2 bounces out of the gates with a freshness and radiates an 80s vibe. I think the critics already had a preconceived idea that this was a nothing film. They liked Grease and they felt, who wants to have it rehashed with nobodies? The reality is, everybody has to start somewhere, and Grease 2 was a launching pad for many talented individuals who unfortunately failed to be recognised. Those who liked the film could see the talent, while those who didn't simply missed the boat. Yes, Grease 2 was full of stars, old and new, and when Pink Lady Lorna Luft stated that the entire cast gave 110% of their talent and they worked their butts off, I believed it. I didn't have a problem with Caulfield and Pfeiffer. This was Grease for the 80s generation, and it seems that those who were so quick to dismiss it in 1982 now feel that it's not as bad as it once was. Whatever way you look at it, the public don't like imitators, and as a result, they stayed away. But really, the public missed out, because Grease 2 was, and still is, a good film. There's a group of people out there that caught onto this film late through cable TV screenings or, VHS, and they thought, why didn't we go and see this in theatres? It was a big mistake. And I think that those people are the ones now that love it more than ever, because they realise that, this is a film that flopped, yet we love this film. And I think that's why the cult status has really grown. And for me, Grease 2 will always be cool. It's not second best. Grease 2 is an equal. And I think over time, it'll get its due. If you've enjoyed my look back at Grease 2, please let us know in the comments below, and I will return to talk some more about this criminally underappreciated sequel. But in the meantime, as always, please like, comment and subscribe, and keep watching the 80s show, because you will never know what is going to pop up next. It's been an absolute pleasure. This is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold. Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and with just as much swagger as a T-Bird. Way to go, Nagarelli. Please subscribe, and good night, viewers.